All right, just testing here. Can you want to hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, so that's John Saunders here. Nate, can you hear me?
Yes.
Beauty.
So perhaps we leave the video to the people with good hair, and I should turn my camera off.
Everybody's got good hair. You got to be proud of what you got.
Well,
I
it
like the
works.
background.
Yeah, somebody told me I should change from the winter scene.
That's what we're known for here.
Yep.
See who this is. Uh-oh. Ellen's saying her internet is down, so we'll have to give her a little bit of time. Ellen just said she might be a little bit. We'll see.
Hey, how are you?
I think Leah was the only one who said that she couldn't be here. For the meeting minutes, John, If you just want to take minutes, send them to Ellen, and then we'll have Ellen come in and sign them later.
That sounds good.
Did you get the whole email with the director's report and everything?
Yes,
Perfect. So you don't need to rewrite a book.
right. Yep, yeah, my meeting just started. And we are short of a quorum as yet.
Yes.
Hello, Alex.
We should be getting Ellen
You're
here.
on.
Hey, John, how's it going?
Real well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Well, it's a strong move. You taken the position on the board. You've got to be a busy boy, and I think that's a stand-up move, taking this yourself.
Oh, it's good to see the information coming through, and being a part of it all is good to see for sure. So it's yeah, a nice group to be a part of, though.
I'm just here for the board fee. So what do we need for a quorum? I have to think about that for a minute. Do we need 5? No,
We need 5.
we do, eh?
Yep. So Ellen should be chiming in here soon. I haven't heard from Jim Sisorny. Sarah said she was going to be here. Sarah Bixby, the new one. Leah said she was not.
Yeah, it's only one planned no-show, so we should make it.
Yeah. And Ellen will probably just be a couple of minutes. She's rebooting her internet right now. Ah, there she is.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. What a pain in the rear. Is anyone else having internet problems?
Are you on Charter by chance, or
Yeah.
Spectrum, or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm on Spectrum.
It's amazing how much money we pay to them, and their internet is constantly going down. Yeah, they're always out at my house. That's frustrating.
Well, we've had that happening a lot, but it just, it's not supposed to happen 5 minutes before you get on a meeting,
Yeah.
especially one that's been a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Matt and Nathan on, John, Alex. Hi.
Hi.
I didn't hear back from Sarah,
I didn't either.
and Jim is having trouble getting on.
Everyone's got cool backgrounds. Well, I mean, John and Nate.
Yeah, not me. The only thing I can do is the potato head.
Well, yeah, it's the guys with bad hair got the good background.
And Nathan says, speak for yourself, John.
How's this? How's mine now? You like that?
Yeah, cool.
All the condos?
Okay, I'm gonna just switch screens here and see if I can help John, okay? Jim. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, we're waiting on Jim Cerny still, and Sarah. Leah said she couldn't make it. I mean, who knows when they'll chime in? I haven't heard anything from Jim. Yeah. I thought I saw him at the gym the other day. I should have said something to him. I wasn't sure if it was him because he was wearing a mask, and you can't tell who anyone is with mask on.
Yeah.
So I didn't want
I'm
to be
not
that
going to,
dude who approaches that other guy. And
I'm not going to the gym. I can't. I just can't. It freaks me out too much.
Well, and when we've got, 365 days of the year for outside sports, it's easy to not belong to a gym.
I like picking heavy things up too much.
Okay, I am emailing Jim the information. So we should see him shortly, I hope.
Just a heads up, this is being broadcasted on YouTube Live, so it's public. We've turned off commenting and everything, but you will be recorded and it is going to be broadcasted. So,
As soon as we roll call?
well, I mean, it's already going right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we have quorum. Do you want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. I'm a little rusty, so forgive me. I'm calling the meeting to order at 5:37. Meeting of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for Monday, July 20th, 2020. This is our first virtual meeting. And John, you are doing minutes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are you comfortable with the roll call?
Yeah, this is great having the names in front of everybody.
Yeah. So because we haven't met in a while and we have three members that are fairly new, I'd like for us to do just a quick intro. So my name is Ellen Weingarten. I'm representing the community gardens in Marquette. We have 2 sites. John, you're next.
John Sondregger on the board, brought on to represent trails in the city.
Alex?
Alex Tissio, representing the ball fields and users portion.
Nathan?
Nathan Larsh, joined in February, joined the board.
Welcome.
How's your
Jim.
last name spelled? I'm sorry.
Larsh.
Thank you. Sorry.
Jim, quick intro.
Pardon?
We're looking for you to just give us a quick background on who you represent, what user group you represent.
I represent the disabled.
Okay.
And basically, I look for input from anybody. I talk to people about what to do with the beach. When I saw the minutes of the proposed new business, and so I'm very willing to listen to anybody.
Well, that's definitely on the agenda for today.
Mm-hmm.
And then Matt Luce.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Matt Luce, joined the board late last year. I don't have video because I haven't had a haircut since COVID hit, so I figured you guys do that.
And Matt, you are representing Trails.
Yeah, I think at the February meeting we had said that I would also kind of tag team with John for the trails.
Okay, great. Not represented today is Leah Nygaard. She represents the junior hockey user group. And then we have a new member, Sarah Bixby. We don't know exactly if she will have a user group designation, but she's ready to join us as soon as we get rolling again. We didn't hear back from her today about whether she could attend the meeting. All right, I'd like to move on to the approval of the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
I would move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Great. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Who seconded?
Who
I
seconded?
could check second if no one else does.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Matt, can you give an affirmative or a negative in approval of the agenda?
Affirmative.
Okay. All approved, motion passes. Approval of the minutes from February 10th, 2020. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the minutes.
Okay. Is there a
As it-
second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Matt?
I agree.
Okay. All in favor, motion passes. Are there any announcements?
None for me.
Okay, we'll move on to presentations. Any presentations today? Okay, and then public comment is suspended. Andrew, or?
I do not have anyone in the waiting room for public comment, nor did I receive any written public comment. So I was anticipating one individual, Cesar Escobar, with Clean UP, and I am not seeing him. I sent a note to him right at the beginning of the meeting, and I don't know if he's gotten it. So if he chimes in later, especially during new business A, I might request that he just, if he comes in later, I'll request that maybe he can speak real quick. That's not a problem. I mean, with the new technology, I'm trying to make sure everyone kind of understands and have some leniency.
Right, so this is our first try as a virtual meeting, meeting virtually. So it's gonna take us a while to get up and running, but we're just gonna be patient with each other and accept our missteps if any happen. So moving on then to old business. And the first item on the agenda is membership. As we discussed back in February, we have several new board members, and in the meantime, we've gotten a 7th member, Sarah Bixby, or is it 8? Or I'm sorry, I can't remember how many people are on our board. Is it 9?
9, we have 1 vacancy.
Yes. Okay. So we are at number 8 with Sarah. And where we stand right now is waiting to hear from the Market Area Public School System to find out if they've got someone that they'd like to send our way. Of course, they've been very busy trying to figure out how to do their jobs under the new rules of the COVID pandemic. And so I will contact Bill Saunders at some point, but I'm not going to really push him because I think this is probably a pretty low item on their priority list.
I was
Yeah.
thinking Alex was the school representative.
John Kurkowski was our representative. He stepped off because he was going to retire and move away.
Right, I thought that Alex filled that spot.
No, we discussed with Alex the need for someone to represent ball sports.
Oh, great. Okay.
And
Great.
so it's the job of the district superintendent to establish a representative for the district.
Yeah, Ellen, I can speak a little bit to that. And, ideally, we're going to have somebody transferred directly into John Kurkowski's role within MAPS. And, his position was both auxiliary services and transportation. And so with his position has since been kind of reclassified a little bit. But I know it's on Bill's radar. And like you said, it's something just with trying to get schools going back again, in in-person education and being looked at and everything like that. This will take priority after that wraps up, I'm sure.
Okay, thanks for the update.
Yeah.
All right, what I'd like to do is vote on officers next month. The idea was that we would vote on officers in March, but we've had such a long pause in meeting, especially in person, that I'd like everyone here who's at the meeting, and then I'll contact Sarah and Leah to consider the positions that are open. We're looking for a vice chair, so that person would step in to run meetings if I am not able to attend. And then additionally, we have had traditionally just one secretary, a note taker, a minute taker. But sometimes John can't make the meeting, and so we need to have a backup person to allow for us to take record of the meeting. So I'd like to suggest that we have co-secretaries as we operated before John Krakowski left. He and I were co-secretaries, and it ensures that we've always got someone at the meeting to take minutes. So consider one of those roles, and we'll discuss that and vote on it next meeting in August. Wedding policy, Andrew.
All right. I'm hoping everyone had a chance to review the wedding policy that I attached in the email. That document has been a couple of years worth of work. The last meeting that you guys had, I brought it forward for everyone to basically review, sent it home with everyone as like basically homework. Take some notes, come up with some comments. Any questions, now's the time. We're going to go over this and make sure that everything looks good. Otherwise, it's ready to be recommended to the City Commission for adoption.
Andrew, are you able to throw that up on the screen?
1 second. Oh, now you're not cooperating. It's probably going to be kind of hard to see. Can everyone see that okay? I mean, it's probably difficult with all the screens you have. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, this is the policy that Prav has been developing since before my time. I believe John Swenson originally started it. Ellen, you're probably one of the few that was actually part of the original group that started this.
Mm-hmm.
So what it's based on is the necessity of creating a wedding policy that basically not only puts restrictions, but gives us some guidelines for administrative staff to follow on how weddings can be conducted on public grounds without being a public disruption, but also allows us to charge a fee and set up a specific place, so that way we can move forward with all the wedding requests that we get. So that's kind of the background with it. I believe that a lot of this verbiage has been discussed multiple times. We do have an area kind of blocked off in the Lighthouse, and also this would include Tourist Park, and it would not include Presque Isle Park, more specifically like Black Rocks. This is basically to kind of limit exactly the areas and how many people can be in a given place at one time. This kind of connects a little bit with PIPAC's discussion, Presque Isle Park Advisory Committee's issues with rogue weddings that are happening out of Black Rocks, where you're getting hundreds of people out there at any given time, congesting the road and generally not allowing the public to use it because no one wants to walk through a wedding. They don't want to be disruptive when really those people are being disruptive to the general public. So all this information that's in place, I think there were some questions last time about like the noise ordinance, individuals, equipment, all that's kind of addressed in this last little bit here. So again, we can open the floor to comments, discussions, any thoughts about this policy that probably should be changed or added. And it's frozen.
No, I thought we gave it a good airing at the last meeting. And I think this is sound. So I'm not sure if everybody, most of this board, I think Alex is new, and but I think we looked, this is very close. Did it change at all from when we looked at it before? Adding these couple of exclusions perhaps?
It didn't change at all. Essentially what we did was we took some of the notes from the last meeting. Again, I'm having a hard time remembering everything that was said, but I looked over some of the notes, discussed that with John. Essentially what we're going to look for Prab to do is to make a motion to approve this, to support the city commission to adopt this. And honestly, what's going to happen is before it even goes to the city commission, it's going to go through our attorney's office. So you guys will approve this, but there might be some additional verbiage that might get added, just kind of a CYA type thing with our attorney. But essentially, yeah, what you said, if you feel like this is a sound document, everything's there. We didn't make any changes.
Andrew,
Yeah, I would move that we recommend this to attorneys and then to city commission.
I just want to back up a little bit. There was a map that you attached that showed an aerial view of the spots that are listed in this policy. And I was not able to open it. I don't know if it was because of my internet connection.
Can you guys see that now?
Yeah.
So what you're looking at, this is a brutal map, but essentially what it's outlining is McCarty's Cove and this green space at the Lighthouse property. This would be technically in legal terms like exhibits, like exhibit A or B, when it comes to a use. So would be a defined area, and I'm recalling a question about how are we going to mark these. One of the thoughts was using the Marquette Maritime Museum's bricks that they have and kind of setting those in the ground to kind of determine a boundary. But this is the general location of that is implied with this policy. The other side of that is Tourist Park and the picnic sites, which is pretty clearly labeled on another map.
Okay, so from what I can recall, this designation was discussed the last time the wedding policy came up, but that this aerial view demarcated is an addition, and that's spelled out in the new policy, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so anyone who's wanting to establish or to reserve either of these spots, they'll be directed to one or the other of these for reservation.
Yep, and they'll have to go through our office. So I'm assuming what's going to happen right away is the attorney will probably have their way with it a little bit. They'll make sure that stuff like this is included and everything's rock solid. So that there's basically almost a contract in place for every reservation, making sure that the grounds aren't damaged, and people are held liable for any repairs if need be. Anything like any disturbances or anything outside of what the general guidelines or requirements are for equipment and people, that can all probably be added. I'm assuming they'll probably do that.
Okay. Thanks,
So
Andrew.
Yep.
And so, John, you had stepped in to make a motion to recommend that we approve it for review at the city commission level.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. For all of those in favor, please raise your hand.
Was that Alex second?
It's me.
Matt?
Thank you.
And I also agree.
Okay. All in favor, so everyone approves, motion passes. Okay, we're going to move on to new business. The first item on the agenda is the park beach ordinance and enforcement.
Okay. Hold on, I'm just pulling up some other information. All right. So who was partying down on July 4th at McCarty's Cove?
Oh, I definitely was not.
Oh, come on now. I thought I saw a couple of you.
Nope.
No? Oh, okay. Well, as you can imagine, that's been a pretty hot topic lately. Essentially, we've had some complaints in the past about July 4th and our beaches and things getting a little out of control from side of littering, as well as the partying and alcohol. So the city of Marquette, as basically responding to this, especially now it's been exacerbated by the pandemic, we're looking at an operational plan and changes that we're basically hoping that Parks and Rec Advisory Board would stand behind and offer a motion of support for the city to take these actions. If you read my director's report, there's, well, not the director's report, my summary for new business so I could prepare everyone. That would be inclusive of adding signs, especially some additional temporary signs at some of the common pathways on busy weekends, just to remind everyone of the ordinances. On top of that, there's going to be additional trash cans and even a dumpster that will be provided on busy weekends to help with additional cleanup. We've got a great volunteer following, including Mr. Escobar, who has been leading the charge to keep the beaches clean. And another thing is that our police officers will actually be sending uniformed officers will be coming down to the beach and issuing citations. It was kind of one of those things that they would not necessarily turn a blind eye. You know, if someone had a beer down there and it was in a koozie, I mean, they weren't being disruptive. That wasn't quite the issue. That they were more worried about the crazy parties, and that's kind of what the case was. There was some enforcement going on. It's just obviously things were a little out of control. So police is looking to nip that in the bud for next year, and any future events like possibly even Labor Day if we get another hot weekend. So with all that in mind, just looking for a motion of support for city staff to follow through with these operational changes, just making sure that we have the public's backing to do this, and you guys acting as a voice of the public, we would like to make sure that that's okay. And then you might have even seen an additional email that came from me this morning. We are actually proposing a smoking ban on the beaches, and that would require a change to the ordinance. And I would like an additional motion from Parks and Rec Advisory Board tonight to go ahead and move forward with the city to draft an ordinance to either amend or create an ordinance to ban smoking on public beaches in the city of Marquette. And if you guys are even willing to extend that to all the park system.
Okay, so the first motion on the table would be to approve. Can you give us some wording on that, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, John, do you just want to take my email from new business? And
Yes.
okay, so essentially what I'm saying is initial plans are to place signs along the beaches and other troubled areas to better inform the public of the ordinances. Additional signs will be placed during busy weekends along common pathways for further conveyance of the ordinance to the public. Public Works will be placing additional trash cans along the beaches and provide a dumpster for any potential cleanup on the July 4th holiday. And Marquette Police will be sending uniformed officers to patrol and issue citations.
Okay, so the reason why I wanted you to repeat that was because I'm confused about the signage. So the sign example that we saw included no smoking. So
Yes, you did.
So will that new sign, is that the new signage we're talking about, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the kind of the conundrum that we're facing. We can post those signs, but they're not enforceable until an ordinance is made.
Okay, all right. Good clarity, thank you. Okay, so would anyone like to propose a motion to approve all of the measures that Andrew just outlined?
Andrew, where's that dumpster going?
That's a great question. I think we're gonna work with Public Works a little bit and some of those volunteers. I know that one of the main hotspots is at McCarty's Cove there. We'd probably look at putting one kind of close in the grass along that parking area that turns off to McCarty's Cove. Just somewhere that's kind of out of the way and not a huge dumpster, but a large enough one that we can collect the refuse and it's not just sitting in a pile for a day or two. Generally what would happen though is the volunteers in Public Works would go out early in the morning the next day. They collect all the rubbish and set it up by the bike path or the street. And it's usually not picked up right away. So by providing a dumpster there, at least it's just a collection point. Really that collection point will be determined as we get closer and what's the best possible location.
Sure.
And it would only be there temporarily, like maybe a day.
So the
But now you're
dumpster-
looking for a motion.
Yes, we'll discuss that after the motion is voted on. Is there a second? Or did
Well,
anyone?
is somebody ready for a motion? I
Yeah.
would move that we approve the recommendation from the Parks and Rec regarding signage at the parks.
So the motion is to approve the measures that were recommended by by Andrew and John, correct? That you
Yeah.
moved
Yeah.
after that? Okay,
Yes, it's all the signage and operational changes.
right. So that motion will read following the verbiage that Andrew had in his director's report. And I can't get that up. Is it okay if we just go ahead without the specific verbiage if it's in the director's report?
Yeah. You
Okay.
can just make sure it's written that way in the minutes. And if you just want to copy and paste it again from my email, you don't have to use it word for word. If you want to clean it up, by all means.
Okay,
Sure. And then
great.
when we approve, yeah, if it's not exactly what we like, we can adjust it at the minutes next month.
Okay. So we have a motion from John and a second from Jim, correct?
For me.
Oh, okay. Nathan, you guys want to duke it out?
Give it to
Okay.
Nathan.
All right, John and Nathan. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Matt?
I'm in favor.
Okay. All unanimous approval, motion passes. Okay, so the second motion then is to approve that the city embark on writing up an ordinance to ban smoking either initially solely at the beach. Is it just McCarty's Cove? Or
All
all
beaches.
parks? All beaches, and then
Or-
maybe
Or you guys can do parks wide
parks.
and that would cover everything.
I would
Okay.
think we'd want to make it parks right. Because you find cigarette butts all over, like the big island, etc.
Would that include Presque Isle as well?
It would?
So
Yes.
Okay,
So Presque Isle Park Advisory Committee has already made a motion to the city commission to amend the land use policy, actually to make an ordinance that would include no smoking at the island. However, that hasn't been passed yet. And if we had a general resolution from Parks and Rec Advisory Board or a motion of support from Parks and Rec Advisory Board to have the city commission consider ordinance for all parks, it would include Presque Isle Park, and we just wouldn't include that with the land use policy. And I will tell you right now, you make a lot of many people happy at Presque Isle.
so just to be clear, there had been some signage out at Presque Isle in the past. I haven't seen it recently that talked about, that suggested or asked people not to smoke out at the island. So that was not backed up by an ordinance, correct? That was just a suggestion or
Administrative policy that is non-enforceable.
all right. Okay, so I can tell you, I personally am in favor of banning smoking at all city parks and beaches. Any other discussion? Anyone else want to chime in before we take?
We're
Is
having-
is this all in the same motion, or
This is a
is
new
this- do we
motion.
need
This is a second motion.
who made the motion?
No one has made the motion yet.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, so we're looking for a motion.
So moved. Like to revise that ordinance to include no smoking at all city parks
And beaches.
and beaches.
Okay. Is there a second?
I can second.
Okay. All right, Jim, you got it this time. All right. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
No, I'm in favor.
Matt? Okay, Matt. All right. Motion is unanimously approved. Motion passes. All right, we are next on to community bike path mural concept.
1 second, I forgot to do
What do they
something.
mean by the murals along the bike path? You know, where would they go? You know, the views of the lake, you don't want to impede. You know, at least to me, I enjoy it. I ride the path quite a bit in the good weather, and I really enjoy those nice views of the lake. You know, where do they want to put the murals? Is my question.
I believe they're going on the bike path. So
Oh,
they're
where on the bike path?
On the pavement itself,
on the pavement.
Oh,
Yeah.
And do we have the text or the pictures that they're talking about?
1 second, sorry. All right. Hi, Tina.
Hey guys.
Hi,
So
Tina.
this is Tina Harris. She is the Arts and Culture Manager, liaison to Marquette Public Arts Commission, also the Arts and Culture Committee. So Marquette Public Arts Commission was the one who brought forward the proposals for the murals, and she will be listening into the discussion. We'll be able to answer some questions. So already we've had a question about where these murals would be going.
So perhaps it would make sense for Tina to give us a broad and quick overview of the project.
Does everybody have the 2-pager that we sent over?
Yes.
Okay, that explains it really well. Basically we were getting a lot of, Market Public Art Commission has been working for the last 2 years since its formation on the guidelines, policy, and maintenance. It's taken a long time, it's a thick document, and now they're just beginning to decide what types of public art projects they're going to spend money on. And there was a lot of pressure during the whole COVID to do some kind of community art project. And also we heard word from the Arts and Culture Advisory and from public comment from young people saying, I want to be involved, I want to do something. So this is a temporary public art project. It's nothing that's meant to be maintained into perpetuity. And a lot of communities are doing these street murals that you see. The Public Art Commission didn't want it to be an open-ended call for words. They didn't want it necessarily to go political. So they actually took a lot of time thinking about what words, if they were to be painted on streets or the bike path is what they are proposing, would be nice for Marquette. And Remember was slated for an area not yet quite determined, but an area that would be a straight, they're looking for no curve, straight, flat surface by the Founders Landing area, because that area has changed so much. Remember looking at our past, who we've been, where we've come. Dream was selected for a long stretch along the Matson Park because kids relate to the word dream, the playground that's there, and again, overlooking the harbor. respect McCarty's Cove, kind of timely with what happened at 4th of July. But also they talked a lot about the environment and respecting the environment, and then gratitude and hope closer to Presque Isle. So this would basically, we would do a call if approved to the community to give their ideas for how they would paint these letters in. I think I also gave you an image of the stencils that would be about 6 feet by 4 feet. And the artists would actually, they would be outlined in a white border, and the artists or group of artists, if it's a community group, would be able to paint the inside in a 2-foot perimeter around the words. We decided now, because we kind of wanted a little bit of hope or something fun to look forward to for people when things get dismal in October, something to kind of brighten up the bike path. We kind of shine it up again in the spring and then take it down next September and see what community's response would be. So that's it in a nutshell. Nothing too complicated. Just a community art project. Anyone can paint, any age. A group would have to present their proposal. They'll be juried by the Public Art Commission. So just not anybody can throw something out there. And it would be basically managed by the Arts and Culture Division. I probably will be actually making the white outlines of the letters myself. So closely supervised, and we've budgeted for masks, and we'll have social distancing in place, and that kind of thing too, to keep it safe.
And this would be painted. Go ahead.
What's the material that you'll be using? Is it was latex paint? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, latex paint, something that easily could be power washed. That was recommended by, we were talking with the Marquette Wallpaper and Paint. You know, we wanted to do local. And then also we did find paint that you can see from the example that is asphalt color, in case the power washing doesn't work. But my big concern was I didn't want it to look blotchy on the bike path, for sure, when it's removed. That was a concern of mine.
What's the durability of it, and how long do you expect it to last?
You know, I think this will start looking a little scratched up by next spring. This isn't a long-term thing. This is definitely in the moment for a short period. If we were doing this ideally, it would be in the spring and take it down in August. It's not you know, there's a lot of traffic that happens there. So a mural like this isn't going to be long-term. So it's definitely more of a community art gateway project. It's the act of doing it, seeing it happen for a while, and kind of ephemeral in the sense it'll disappear. It's not like a statue or a mural on a wall or something like that. But I think that it'll be around in the spring, and we're asking the same people that are identified that paint it this fall would touch it up in the spring. So then we could take it down in September. Next
September, a year
right.
from September.
Right. I have a feeling it might get some people might, when it's safe to come back to the UP, families that are separated right now. I think there might be some pride in what they did in September. They might want to show it off next summer.
Okay. And I hate to bring this up because I think this is a really wonderful idea. When the paint gets power washed off, are all of those particles going to go like into the dirt, or I mean, will they come off in pieces, or?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I haven't done a project like this. We could ask that, and if there's an environmental issue, maybe the safest thing is just to paint over it with the asphalt paint.
Okay, so this late spring, there was a section of the bike path over by the new Lighthouse Park. I think there was a homeowner there who lives on the corner of the bike path and the new paved Arch Street block that on occasion puts these flags out on the fence. And it looked like they spray painted something on the bike path that were red, white, and blue. They were red, white, and blue hearts. And they faded and washed away after a while. There's the very faint outline there still on the bike path, but it seemed to me that, first of all, when I was riding that, thinking, wow, someone just spray painted. I mean, the hearts are nice, but this is on public property.
Right.
You know, like acrylic spray paint or something, but then it started to disappear and fade. So I'm wondering if this was something that was more like a spray sidewalk chalk or something like that, that had a little bit more staying power than sidewalk chalk, but eventually just faded away. And while that may not be, if there is such a thing, may not be the best tool for trying to get these wonderful murals on the bike path, especially if you're looking for some staying power. I would be curious to know if there's something else out there that we could use. But I'm not opposed to the latex paint idea. Just want to make sure that it doesn't hurt the surrounding areas.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. We could do a little bit more research when it comes to the actual product that's used. I mean, and we're following just latex, what other cities are doing right around. You've seen a lot of them with the Black Lives Matters movement, lots of different latex paint murals on city streets and stuff.
Okay,
but ours is near a bike path and a lake. And so, yeah, we should, we could pay attention to that.
Yeah,
you know,
Tina,
I think there could be a good product.
Yeah, if you just want to talk to your market wallpaper and paint, they will know, but generally latex paints are safe for the environment. It's one of the reasons why they're used and why oil-based paints are being phased out. So I would just make sure that when you're looking for a durable paint, you're looking for more of an eco-friendly type though. The problem is when you start doing that, you start sacrificing longevity. But again, we're talking about a temporary project that's going to last 6 to 12 months. I think a latex paint would actually hold up pretty well and would not pose much of a threat at all to the environment, even after it was cleaned up. So if it was really a concern after power washing, there's ways to clean that up and contain it.
Yeah, we've budgeted about, and I don't have the paper in front of me, sorry, about $3,500, I believe, for this project. And I'll clean up. I mean, that's all being taken care of by the fund for public art.
Okay.
Well, I would just as soon, and I'm on the bike paths a lot, and I see public space. I would like to discourage paint on public spaces and roadways and building sides, and I think they look bad after they start to, you know, get some age on them. And you know, we're fortunate to not have too much graffiti in this community, but we do have some, and it crops up, and I would just like to see less of that.
Yeah, I can say that there's been a lot of research on murals, on public murals, but on like electric boxes on streets and in East Lansing, especially in parking ramps. And they've actually deterred, and almost none of them have ever been graffitied, just for whatever reason that murals lessen graffiti, if anything. And I think, you know, they were looking for something. What can we do that's safe, that's not people exchanging materials, quilts, painting, that has big impact, that can speak to a large group of people just right now? You know, it might be something that none of us ever want to do again. It's not really up my alley personally, but then I don't have a voice in this. But I get the sentiment that people want to see something positive, big impact. So this is very little money, very little, it's not going to, we're not changing the structure of something. It's not going to change our daily lives, but it's going to make a real positive, I think, impact for a lot of people.
Well, or it's virtue signaling that I don't like. You know, so, I mean, I expect that this is something that's going through the country, and I expect it'll have support and we'll probably pass it, but I'd rather not see public virtue signaling.
Okay, well, and this is a temporary project. This is something that will eventually be gone. So it's a way for us to have a virtue project that lasts hopefully longer than the ramifications of the pandemic that we're in the middle of. So I think by that measure, it has the virtue outweighs the drawbacks that it may have, especially given that we have so many of our community residents out on the bike path, trying to get some time outside when they have so other little options indoors. Anyone else have any comments about it? Matt, Nathan, Alex?
The
Okay.
only thing I would chip in, siding with John, is that right now, there's basically, I've seen very little, if any, graffiti on the bike path itself. Occasionally on signs, I see it. Would this put our graffiti artists will have an idea, and they'll put not defacing your signs, but they'll want to post their own statements. You know, right now having it just the black top is fine.
Yeah, that was my thought on the graffiti, is not that these would be defaced, but it just, it indicates to, a lot of people aren't going to necessarily recognize that, okay, this is sanctioned graffiti, and, you know, they're more inclined to put their own graffiti.
Well, you know, and it's an issue that our city has faced with Shine. I forget the name of the Beautification Preservation Committee's group for cleaning up graffiti. And it's an issue that other cities face. I think it shouldn't make us shy away from street art or art on buildings or murals or things like that, because graffiti is, you know, a crime. I mean, it's illegal for someone. So there would be, if something happened, that person would be arrested. And the fact that we have a really proactive, we actually have a policeman that's specifically for identifying graffiti. I think if there was some kind of secondary thing that would happen, it would be nipped in the bud pretty fast. I'm not so concerned. And I just don't think it should make us leery or afraid to express ourselves in unique and innovative ways in this community. And I think it would mean a lot to the young people too, that want to do something.
Well, so the action of them being out in a group, painting on the sidewalk, I'm sure will be seen by many. It will be profiled in the media and on social media. So I don't think it will be happening in a vacuum. People will be aware that it's going on, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, is there a social media PR arm of this that will be?
Yeah, so our office would be doing a lot of promotion about the project, what it means, the intent. Also promoting the Public Art Commission in general and Friends of the Public Art Commission, which you will find, you'll have many things coming across your desk soon, actually. Project Blackboard, a mural in the, on the Hurley Field basketball court. Another large sculpture for the Cultural Trail in probably 2 years to go up. So things will be coming down the pike. Obviously, public art scene and public parks and public spaces. So you'll be hearing more from us. But this is a first easy, small project. And not only will our office be promoting it, but also the Public Art Commission and the Friends of Marquette Public Art as well. It'll get a lot of promotion. And I'm sure all of the drones will be happy doing their flyover things.
Okay, well, let's close out comment unless anyone has anything else to say and move towards making a motion.
I just I just want to say I like that it's temporary, kind of like a test run, and then maybe do it years down the road or keep on doing it every summer, whatever. But yeah, I like the idea a lot. I think it'll go well in Marquette.
Okay, I would like to hear a motion to approve this project for approval from the city commission, right? Does it got to go to the city commission?
I'm
I
trying
think
to
it just has
exactly.
to be a recommendation from you that this
Okay.
project goes forth, because the city commission, it'll be on their next meeting agenda,
Okay,
if approved.
all right. So a motion to
Yeah.
recommend this to the city commission.
I'll make that motion.
Nathan, first motion. Anyone for second?
I'll second.
Okay, Alex, great, thank you.
Dallas.
All right, for all those in approval, please raise your hand. All right, Matt?
I'm in approval.
Okay, for anyone opposed, please raise your hand. Okay, great. So motion passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-1. All right. Thanks, Tina. It's a great project.
Yeah, well, be very invested and do right by you guys, so don't worry.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you for the opportunity.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's move on to the director's report.
One more. Lighthouse basketball court.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, Lighthouse Park basketball court.
One
I
second.
have noticed there are some young people that are playing basketball on that. And I've never seen it used since the Coast Guard left. That was part of their facilities for their people to stay physically fit. And I was thinking, this would be good. Give the kids another ball court.
Yeah, so I can provide the background to this. So we have two young individuals who are residents of the city of Marquette. Jim, you've probably seen these two individuals using that basketball court.
Mhm.
They are basically proposing a private fundraiser to put up a new basketball hoop and posts and paint the basketball court, paint the lines. So if everyone is in approval of that, if you're okay with that, we just basically need a motion of support that would allow these individuals to move forward with this project.
You know, I've got to say with just the inability to open gyms, you know, it's really kind of put a spotlight on the need for us to maintain our outdoor basketball spaces in particular. You know, we have our high school students and really just community students looking for anywhere and everywhere to get out and stay fit and play basketball at that. And yeah, this would be a great idea if they can pull off the fundraiser.
Is this something that can be done safely during the pandemic? Passing the ball? I mean,
As long as they stay further far apart, it's like any sports. Depending on, you know, basketball isn't supposedly a full contact sport. You know, if these kids, you know, would shoot balls and stuff, you know, and not get into the old roughhousing, but we can say you shouldn't, but you don't need like a referee there to prevent it. You know, I see these two young guys shooting hoops there, and I think, oh, it's finally getting used again because those grounds get used so little. I think what a waste of our tax dollars that we need to, we called it a park. Why not have, you know, we don't need playground equipment, but we had this where they had basketball for the coaches. You know, I would even move to that. We should make a motion to let these two young guys see what they can do. That'd be a good activity for them.
Yeah, I would support it. I think it makes a lot of sense.
So they cover the cost of the paint and et cetera. Okay. And any issues with liability since it's already covered? It's a park, considered part of
Essentially,
the park.
yeah. I mean, all we would do essentially is we would get a basic estimate for a contractor to do that work.
Mhm.
They would then have a goal to work towards, and then once they meet that goal, they can then contract with that contractor who would have all the proper insurance and everything to install all of that. And it might even be our own public works who might even volunteer their time.
Okay.
With those types of projects, are like backup rims and nets, are those regularly built into that estimate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments or discussion?
Well, I would move that we support this initiative.
Is there a second?
I'll second. I don't know if I can second, but I'll do that.
Okay. Maybe just to be on the safe side, we'll take Nathan's second.
Mm-hmm. Thank
All
you.
right. All
Okay.
those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, Matt? Matt, do you have a vote?
Yep, I'm in favor.
Okay. All right, motion passes.
All right, I'll let them know, and we'll get that ball rolling for them.
Okay, so now for real, we're going to have move to the director's report.
Sure. So I sent an email last week, included a large book of information. I apologize for all the reading, but again, a lot has happened between now and March. Are there any questions in regard to the director's report?
Okay, so I'm a bit confused. The director's report that I seized on was one that had information from March. So you're saying there was a second one? Was it embedded in your email?
So the one I sent on July 15th.
Okay.
So that should have been updated from March.
Okay. Okay.
So anyone in the public or watching this on YouTube or interested in any of this information, what we're talking about, this will be posted with the meeting minutes at a later date. Just want to put that out there since we're recording this.
Okay, I do not. So basically with this new format, as a reminder, since Andrew took over, we are, rather than going through the director's report, having Andrew read it, we're basically just giving feedback and input to the director's report that he submitted to us in advance of this meeting. And that's my recollection. Is that your recollection, Andrew?
Yep. Just trying to, save yourselves about 45 minutes worth of director's report.
Okay, all right. So I'd like to discuss the Hurley Field progress on the new playground equipment.
Yep. So what I wrote in that, from the update I got from John, my director, John Swenson, equipment will be arriving very soon, first week of August, and Public Works will be installing it. They do have the time scheduled for that, and everything is kind of moving forward funding wise. Rotary's been a big help with that. So everything's on track. There's a second part to this, and Tina Harris chimed in about it. We will be discussing additional project that will be happening out there with the basketball court, where Marquette Public Art Commission is going to have a mural painted on the basketball court itself. And that will need to have PRAB to review it, and this will probably be coming in the August meeting from what I've been informed. I'm not quite sure what the mural would entail. I'm sure it'd be very tasteful. It's something that they've been looking at across the city, multiple basketball courts, but this is the one that they're picking and choosing right now just because they're updating that playground.
Okay, and then the commission has to accept the grant funds from Rotary and the Shiras
I believe
Foundation.
that was already done.
Okay,
Yeah, because
Right.
we
Yes,
already
I'm
purchased the
prepared.
equipment, so I'd assume that they had done that. It's just
okay,
all that happened a long time ago with the mess of the pandemic and
okay.
a lot of information
the
just
March
being
report.
lost.
Okay, so component of that Rotary grant is that Rotary will have some volunteer opportunities to work on that park for upgrades.
Yep.
And so we should expect that that will be something that will be organized. I don't know how it will be organized specifically or when, given the constraints by COVID, but that will be added on, and we will be making note of that at future meetings, at a future meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. Any other comments for the good of the order? Okay. All right. I would like to then call for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Anyone?
I would move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay. And a second. Nathan. Okay. And I'm so rusty at this. All the meetings I've been running, we don't have to do this. So for God's sakes, we don't have to vote on this, right? To go have dinner? No. Okay. We're all set. Okay. And the next meeting is August.
17th.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. It's nice to
Thank
see you all.
Zoom making.
Thank you.
Yeah. Stay safe.
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Take care.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Night.
Thank
Take
you.
care.